What's up, YouTube? This is your boy CJ Sigvary Sauce MIT, aka Corey Johnson, and we're back in our video. And I'm gonna be showing you guys my custom SCP minifigures. Yes, this is the third time I've done this, but I've also made some new ones, updated some of the old ones, and I will also be showing you guys the SCP personnel I have made, and also 3 other horror characters as well. So, and I have the SCPs in order. So first off, we have SCP-035. I did give him a white helmet and a pistol, as you guys can see. So this is 035, otherwise known as a possessive mask. Next is everyone's possibly favorite plague doctor, SCP-049. He does have the pestilence cure, and he does have a pair of scissors that he does cut into his victims with to give them the cure if he's in his containment chamber. Or if he's on the loose, he'll just inject the cure. And speaking of SCP-049, this is one of his failed experiments, which is basically a zombie. I forgot what the substance is called. I'm guessing SCP-049-1 or -A. Something like that. Next, I did update him, SCP-079, otherwise known as Old AI. And speaking of revisiting old characters, I did also update SCP-096, as you guys can see in his arms. You probably did see in that stop motion I made, called SCP-096 Containment Breach, which this guy was featured in because it was a video about him. And I also did a stop motion yesterday or today of SCP-049 as well. So make sure to check out any containment breach videos I make of the SCPs. And speaking of another SCP, this guy hasn't changed at all. It's SCP-106, however. And yes, like I've said before, this is basically a Avengers Infinity War / Endgame / normal Avengers alien, but without his back. So yeah. And we got 2 new SCPs joining us. We have SCP-294, aka the Coffee Machine. May not be the best design for him, but at least, hey, you still got him. And yeah. But he doesn't just dispose coffee, he disposes other liquids into that cup. And speaking of SCPs that are dangerous and stuff like that, we have SCP-1025, otherwise known as the Book of Common Diseases. This is his display, or its display. It doesn't have a gender because it's a book. But there is the black book you guys can see with the white text. So yeah. Alright, so now on to the personnel and stuff like that. Okay, so first off, we have basically an MTF guard / a security guard, whatever you want to call him, from the SCP Foundation. And he is just looking like, oh my god, why do these classy personnel have to act up sometimes? And here is another kind of doctor / scientist. Yes, this guy does work at the Foundation. He's looking for stuff, and answers about SCPs and whatnot. So yeah. And speaking of Foundation personnel, who could have an SCP Foundation without an O5 council member / the guy who announces everything on the intercom? He does have his little announcer thing. It used to be a microphone, but I did give it to someone else, and wait and stay tuned for that. It also has a tablet where you could view the cams, which, in case you guys haven't noticed, in the SCP-096 Containment Breach video, that tablet was used by a different personnel, and we will get to him in a sec. But yes, this is the SCP announced guy, the intercom, basically. Anyways, speaking of that guy, Vu, the tablet, whatnot, and he's always drinking on the job, we have an SCP-MTF guard without his clothes on. This guy, he is always drinking on the job and sitting there doing nothing, and he's usually the first one to die. As you guys can see in our previous two containment breach videos for 096 and 049. This guy was an idiot. Excuse me. And what could an SCP Foundation be without Class C personnel? We have Subject D9341, aka the guy that causes all the mischief. He did that with 096 and 049. And we also have another Class C personnel that just sits there in his cell like a good boy, and oh my god, like a good boy, until it is time for him to be tested. So yeah, and this is basically their holding cell, I guess you could call it, and this is where all the other personnel are held, and this is a containment chamber for any SCPs. As you guys can see, this is the same containment. This is basically also the WWE wrestling ring I used to use, and yeah. Alright, so on to our other horror characters. First off, and this may be the worst thing I made other than SCP-294, but it's Cartoon Cat. Yeah, it's basically Batman without his mask and with white gloves and cat ears, but who cares? It's still Cartoon Cat. And speaking of horror characters, I revisited Freddy Fazbear. Yes, I did. Gave him a new hat, gave him his bow, and he has that microphone he always holds. And yes, this is Freddy Fazbear. And everyone's favorite that I have created, that is a Trevor Henderson creation as well, the one and only Siren Head. Everyone loves this design. And I actually did kind of copy this design really for Siren Head, but I did something different with the sirens, and yeah, but everything else is kind of the same thing of what the other person did, and I will leave a link in the description to that video. If I can find the video, please do not get mad at me. I am not plagiarizing, because I still did it with my own Legos, but it's still Siren Head, and people say they actually love this design. Well, believe me, this design I even like. So yeah. Okay. So other than the Foundation personnel and Siren Head, I will name all the SCPs I like that I created, which would be 035, 049, 096, and 079, and 049's, and also 1025, but 106, like I said, I do like this, but he's basically a Avengers Infinity War, that kind of alien that's in the movie, but without the back part. And of course, 294, this is what he's going to look like from now on. So, I don't really have a problem with it. It's the way I designed it. But if you guys have a problem with it, that's on you. And yes, all these containment breaches will lead to a containment breach of all the SCPs in the Foundation. So, be prepared for that. It will be madness. We will have 096, 049, 035, 079, 106, 294, 1025, all, and this guy will be looking on cams and saying, the site is experiencing multiple Keter and Euclid class level containment breaches. Full site lockdown initiated. Tell me if you guys like that voice impression. And yes, in case you guys aren't wondering, I did do SCP-096's Rage Scream, and I did do SCP-049's voice quotes as well, because I'm a voice impressionist. And I do voice in my own stop motions. And speaking of stop motions, be ready for a Bumblebee stop motion test coming out pretty soon. And I actually excuse me, did learn how to transform him, and believe me, transforming him is kind of a pain in the butt, but then again, he's not a Masterpiece figure or Leader class figure, but it's still a pain in the butt. And it's mainly because he is a parts former, and yeah. But anyways, guys, that's the video. Please sure to like, comment, subscribe, and clear your tap on the notification. Here's some bits, and let's see you guys next video. Please, hold these home goes out there and watch the YouTube video. And do not ask me what parts former is. Look it up. I'm pretty sure Google has plenty of definitions of what a parts former is. But look up parts former, transformer, and you'll probably see what I'm talking about. I don't know. But peace. If not, I'll leave a link.